You think being nice is keeping you safe. It's actually killing your potential. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you're not being kind, you're being a coward. Look around. The people you bend over backwards for, where are they when you need something? They're not thinking about you. They're living their lives while you're stuck managing their emotions, carrying their burdens, playing therapist to people who wouldn't cross the street for you. And here's the part that stings. You already know this. You feel it every time you hang up the phone drained, every time you cancel your plans to fix someone else's problem, every time you swallow what you really want to say. That hollow feeling in your chest isn't confusion. It's your soul screaming that something's wrong. This script is about why you became this way, what it's doing to your brain, and how to stop before you waste another decade of your life making everyone happy except yourself. Because that's the twisted irony here. You think you're maintaining peace, building connections, being a good person, but what you're actually doing is teaching people that your needs don't matter. And they're learning that lesson perfectly. Let me paint you a picture of how this starts. You're 6 years old. Your parents are fighting again. The air in the house is thick with tension you can't name but definitely feel. So you do what kids do. You try to fix it. You become the good child. You stop asking for things. You read the room before speaking. You make yourself small, quiet, convenient, and it works, sort of. The fights don't stop, but you become invisible enough that you're not part of them. Your nervous system logs this as success. Be less, get hurt less. Shrink, survive. Fast forward 20 years. You're not in that house anymore, but your brain is still running that same program. Different people, same pattern. Your boss dumps extra work on your desk Friday at 5. Your friend calls sobbing about the same relationship problem for the 100th time. Your family expects you at every gathering even though you've got deadlines crushing you. And you say yes. Every single time. Not because you want to. Because somewhere deep in your wiring, you still believe that your safety depends on keeping everyone else comfortable. Here's what nobody tells you about this. Every yes you give when you mean no doesn't just cost you time. It costs you identity. Each time you abandon what matters to you to handle what matters to them, you're teaching yourself a lesson. Your goals are negotiable, but their comfort isn't. Your dreams can wait, but their needs can't. You are less important than the people around you. Do this enough times and you'll forget you ever had your own priorities. You'll become a supporting character in your own life, showing up to serve everyone else's plot while yours never moves forward. The invisible tax you're paying is brutal. You're giving away your most productive hours to people who wouldn't think twice about your schedule. You're killing your own momentum to preserve relationships that only work when you're the one sacrificing. You're training everyone in your life to see you as the person who'll always come through, which sounds honorable until you realize it means they never have to consider your needs. They don't have to. You've shown them they can ask for anything and you'll deliver, no matter what it costs you. And the sickest part? You feel guilty when you even think about stopping. That's how deep this goes. The idea of disappointing someone makes your chest tight. The thought of being seen as selfish or difficult keeps you up at night. So you keep saying yes, keep overextending, keep hemorrhaging your energy and time and potential into the void of other people's wants. Meanwhile, that business you wanted to start, that skill you wanted to build, that life you pictured for yourself, it's all rotting on the shelf because you're too busy being everyone's emotional janitor. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and one of history's sharpest minds, spent his life surrounded by people wanting something from him. Everyone had an agenda, a request, a crisis they needed him to solve. And he wrote something that cuts right through this. You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. These things are not asking to be judged by you. Leave them alone. Read that again. Things are not asking to be judged by you. People's problems, their disappointments, their expectations, they're not asking for your judgment or your fixing. You're volunteering for that duty because you think that's what keeps you valuable. But here's the trap buried in that thinking. You believe your worth comes from what you do for others. So you keep doing more, hoping that if you just help enough, sacrifice enough, show up enough, you'll finally feel secure in your relationships. Except it never works that way. The more you give, the more they expect. The more you're available, the less they value your time. You're not building connection, you're building dependence. And dependence isn't love, it's convenience. Your brain isn't helping you here either. Let's talk about why rejection feels like someone stabbing you in the chest. Neuroscientists have found that social pain and physical pain light up the same regions in your brain. When someone rejects you, criticizes you, or even just seems disappointed, your anterior cingulate cortex fires up just like it would if you stubbed your toe. Your brain literally cannot tell the difference between social rejection and physical harm. This is left over from when humans lived in small tribes and getting kicked out meant death. Back then, the group's approval wasn't nice to have. It was survival. Your brain still thinks you're in that world. So when you even consider saying no to someone, your nervous system interprets that as a threat to your survival. The thought of disappointing someone triggers the same fear response as standing on the edge of a cliff. Your heart rate spikes. Your palms sweat. Your mind floods with catastrophic predictions about what'll happen if you don't comply. This is why saying no feels impossible, even when you know you should. Your brain is screaming danger at you, convinced that boundary setting equals social death. Mirror neurons make this worse. These are the neurons that fire both when you experience something and when you watch someone else experience it. They're why you wince when someone else gets hurt, why you laugh when others laugh. They're also why you feel other people's disappointment so intensely that it becomes your problem to solve. When someone's upset with you, your mirror neurons make you feel their emotion as if it's your own. So now you're not just dealing with their disappointment. You're carrying it in your body, feeling it in your nervous system. And your brain's solution is simple. Make them feel better so you can feel better. But here's where it gets darker. Every time you abandon your needs to manage someone else's emotions, you're rewiring your brain. Neuroplasticity isn't just about learning piano or speaking French. It works on behavior patterns too. Each time you say yes when you mean no, you're strengthening the neural pathway that says external validation is your primary goal. You're teaching your prefrontal cortex that other people's approval is more important than your own judgment. Do this enough and you'll stop trusting yourself entirely. You'll need to check with everyone else before making a decision because your internal compass has been replaced by a crowdsourced voting system where everyone gets a say except you.
The brain's reward system gets hijacked too.
Dopamine, the chemical that makes you feel good, starts firing not when you accomplish your goals, but when you get approval from others. You become addicted to the hit you get when someone says thank you, when they tell you you're so helpful, when they validate that you're a good person. But like any addiction, you need more and more to get the same effect. One favor isn't enough. You need to be indispensable. You need to be the first person they call, the one they can't function without. And the whole time your actual dreams are bleeding out because you're chasing a validation high that never lasts. Here's the business angle nobody talks about. Your time and energy are finite resources, the only ones that actually matter. You can always make more money. You can't make more hours. Every day you get 24 of them and that's it. When you give those hours to everyone else's priorities, you're not being generous. You're being stupid. That's not harsh. That's math. Let's break it down. You've got maybe 10 good hours of focused energy per day if you're lucky. If you're giving 8 of those to other people's requests, problems, and emotional needs, you've got 2 left for yourself. 2 hours to build your business, develop your skills, work toward your goals, become the person you say you want to be.
You think you're going to achieve anything meaningful with 2 hours a day of leftover energy?
You're competing against people who guard their time like it's gold because they understand it is. And you're over here giving yours away for free to anyone who asks. The economics of people-pleasing are catastrophic. You're running a business where you're the product, and you're letting people pay nothing while demanding everything. No successful business operates that way. No valuable professional operates that way. But you are, because you've been sold this lie that boundaries make you selfish. Let me destroy that lie right now. Boundaries don't make you selfish. They make you sustainable. You can't pour from an empty cup isn't just a cute phrase. It's physics. You have limits. Pretending you don't doesn't make you noble. It makes you a burnout waiting to happen. Saying no to the wrong people attracts the right people. This is counterintuitive, but watch how it works. When you have no boundaries, you attract people who need someone with no boundaries. They're not bad people necessarily, they're just operating at a level of taking that matches your level of giving. The relationship is built on an imbalanced foundation where you give and they take and everyone's playing their role. That's not a real relationship. That's a transaction dressed up as connection. But when you start saying no, something shifts. The takers get uncomfortable and leave. This feels like loss at first, like you're pushing people away. You are. You're pushing away people who only valued you for what you do for them. And that creates space for people who value you for who you are. People who have their own boundaries respect yours. People who are building their own lives understand when you need to focus on yours. These relationships feel different because they're built on mutual respect, not one-sided sacrifice. The math here is simple but devastating when you see it clearly. If you have 10 units of energy per day and you're giving 8 to others, you're operating at a 20% capacity for your own life. You're living at 1/5 of your potential because you're afraid of what'll happen if you claim your full energy for yourself. And here's the thing. You're not even making the other people happier. Studies on helping behavior show that over-helpers create dependency, which creates resentment, which corrodes relationships. You think you're being the glue holding everything together. Often you're being the crutch, preventing people from developing their own strength. Let's talk about what changes when you start choosing yourself. First, the guilt. It's going to hit you like a truck. You're going to feel selfish, cold, wrong. Your nervous system is going to scream that you're destroying relationships and becoming a bad person. This is normal. This is your old programming panicking because you're rewriting it. The guilt isn't a sign you're doing something wrong. It's a sign you're doing something different. And different always feels wrong at first because your brain prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar growth. Start small. Pick one area where you're overextending and pull back just a little. Maybe it's responding to messages immediately. Maybe it's saying yes to every social invitation. Maybe it's solving problems for people who should be solving them themselves. Choose one thing and create a boundary around it. Not a wall, a boundary. Walls keep everything out. Boundaries let the right things in and keep the wrong things out. There's a difference. When someone asks for something that would require you to abandon your priorities, try this. I can't do that. Not, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Not, I wish I could, but I can't. Just, I can't do that. You don't owe anyone an explanation for having limits. You don't need to justify having a life of your own. If they push back, if they get upset, if they accuse you of changing or being selfish, that's information. That's them revealing they were only comfortable with you when you were sacrificing yourself. The people who actually care about you will respect your boundaries because they want you to thrive, not just serve. Track how you feel after making decisions that prioritize your goals, not how others react, how you feel. When you say no to something that would have drained you, and yes to something that builds your future, notice the sensation in your body. It probably feels uncomfortable at first because you're so used to the validation hit from pleasing others. But underneath the discomfort, there's something else. Relief, space. A sense of reclaiming something that was always yours but you'd forgotten about. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher who understood human nature, wrote, "Everyone hustles his life along and is troubled by a longing for the future and weariness of the present. But the man who organizes every day as though it were his last neither longs for nor fears the next day." Think about what he's saying. You're so busy managing everyone else's present that you're not building your own future. You're in a constant state of reaction, putting out fires, managing crises, keeping people happy. But you're not longing for tomorrow because you're not building a tomorrow worth longing for. What if you organized your day as though it were your last? Would you spend it trying to make sure no one's disappointed in you? Would you give your best hours to other people's problems? Or would you do the thing you keep saying you'll do someday? Would you work on what actually matters to you? The answer shows you how far off track you've gotten. Here's the transformation that's possible when you stop people-pleasing. You become someone who knows what they want and goes after it. Not because you're selfish. Because you finally understand that your life is your responsibility and no one else's. You become someone whose yes means something because you're not saying it out of fear. When you help people, it's from overflow, not from depletion. You're giving because you choose to, not because you'll feel guilty if you don't. That's the difference between generosity and people-pleasing. Generosity comes from strength. People-pleasing comes from fear. Your relationships actually improve when you have boundaries. The ones that don't improve weren't real relationships. They were arrangements where you played a role and they took advantage of it. Losing those isn't losing connection. It's losing exploitation. The people who stick around when you start having standards are the ones who wanted you, not just what you could do for them. These relationships are lighter, easier, more honest. Nobody's keeping score. Nobody's resentful. You're both bringing your full selves, not a performed version designed to be acceptable. The version of you that exists on the other side of this shift is someone you haven't met yet. That person has goals they're actually pursuing. They have energy for their own life. They sleep well because they're not carrying everyone else's emotional weight. They say no without guilt, and yes without resentment. They've stopped performing for approval and started living for purpose. This person isn't cold or closed off. They're just done pretending that self-abandonment is a virtue. You're at a choice point right now. You can keep doing what you're doing, keep saying yes, keep hoping that if you just sacrifice enough, someone will finally see your worth and give you the security you're looking for. Except that security never comes, because you're looking for it in the wrong place. It doesn't come from external validation. It comes from internal alignment, from knowing you're living according to your values, pursuing your goals, respecting your own needs. That's what creates the sense of solid ground under your feet, not other people's approval. Or you can start the uncomfortable work of choosing yourself, of saying no when you need to, of disappointing people who need to be disappointed, of letting relationships that only worked because you had no boundaries fall away. This path is harder in the short term because it goes against everything you've trained yourself to do. But in the long term, it's the only path that leads to a life that's actually yours. Think about this. 1 year from now, where will you be if you keep operating the way you are now? What goal will still be on the shelf? What dream will you still be postponing? What version of your life will you still be putting off because you're too busy managing everyone else's? Now flip it. Where could you be if you spent the next year prioritizing your own growth? If you protected your time the way you protect other people's feelings? If you said yes to yourself as quickly as you say yes to everyone else, the gap between those two futures is the cost of people-pleasing. That's what you're paying, and the worst part is, you can't get that time back. This isn't a rehearsal. You don't get to practice living your life before the real one starts. This is it. Every day you spend trying to keep everyone happy is a day you're not spending building what actually matters to you. Epictetus, slave turned philosopher, knew something about freedom. He said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Your freedom is on the other side of disregarding other people's disappointment. Their reactions, their feelings about your choices, their opinions about your boundaries, these things are beyond your control. When you make them your responsibility, you're volunteering for a prison sentence. You're locking yourself into a life spent managing variables you can't manage, trying to control things you can't control, and sacrificing everything that actually matters to you in the process. The permission slip you need is this: other people's disappointment is not your responsibility. Read that until you feel it. Their disappointment, their inconvenience, their discomfort with your boundaries, not your problem. You didn't cause it by having needs. They're experiencing it because they expected you to abandon yourself, and you chose not to. That's on them. Your job isn't to manage their emotions. Your job is to live your life with integrity, which means alignment between what you value and how you behave. Start this week. Pick one thing you've been putting off because you're too busy helping everyone else. Put it on your calendar. Protect that time like it's a meeting with the most important person in your life, because it is. Then when someone asks you for something during that time, practice saying, "I can't. I have a commitment." You do to yourself. That's a real commitment, just as valid as any other. More valid, actually, because it's the foundation everything else is built on. Name one goal you've abandoned to please others.